Blender is explored. The most prominent example is in the creative and cultural industry. Like we use Blender to make movies, design CG effect, computer graphics effect for movies. We make Netflix series, The Maya 3, and we even build 3D model for interactive web application. And one of the special thing about Blender is that it allows archaeologists to rebuild face from skull, and that is what we call forensic facial reconstruction. It is used to study the appearance of people from the past. Yeah, let's move on to the main dish of this of tonight, modeling. So what actually is modeling? It is the definition is to develop a mathematical coordinate-based representation of any surface of an object. It is quite hard to understand, I would say. You can break it down and you can interpret it uh, in different ways. So you give every point a coordinate, then you join the point with suitable lines, and you create a point from at least 3 lines. And that is what I understand by the term 3D modeling. And this slide explain what I'm talking about. You see a face, a line, a vertex. And in Blender, you can select vertex mode, line mode, and face mode. And this is the option that you should choose during your in your Blender, and you should manipulate the vertex, lines, and face to build your 3D model, because they are the basic component for any 3D model. And how to learn Blender? You understand what is 3D modeling, but you want to learn Blender. So some of you may try to read the official document, read the reference manual from the internet to understand everything, like what hotkeys you should press, what modifiers you should use when you want to build a certain shape. And some of you may try to watch the YouTube video to start off with a donut. And I would say it is not bad. I mean, it would be good for learning the control in the software, but it would not be for beginner. I think the best practice for beginner is not to worry about the control in the Blender software first. I know you have many worries that you don't know how to press any button, that you don't know which modifiers to use, but you do not have to worry about it. As long as you spend more time on Blender, you will get used to this control. And regarding what should you build, I think you should find some reference. You should always try to practice with some object around you, like a water bottle, or even a chair. These are the objects that you can find in your surrounding. And I think it is a very good practice to build with a reference. Even you can search on the internet some floor plan, some product information, so you get to know the wheel size and the shape of the object. And as a beginner, you do not have to build the exact same shape, because the object will be way too complicated or sophisticated for beginner. So you just have to understand how to represent the reference object with the most basic mesh. And I would demonstrate how later. So yeah, let's go to Blender and try to like start from a beginner to try to build a water bottle. And this is the water bottle that I have, and I'm using the object around me to try to build something. Let's go to Blender. Can you guys see the Blender scene? No, time no. Okay, let me share the Blender again. Okay. How about now? Yeah. So you can see this is the common page. I mean, common thing that you will see when you first start the Blender, and these are the default option that you will have. You can select the camera, the object, the light, but you can just simply delete the camera and light first, because these are most more advanced tools that you would have. And you can view the object from different perspective, like X is from the X-axis, Y is from the Y-axis, and Z is from the Z-axis. And I would like to import image from my folder to show you the water bottle background. Yeah, water bottle. Yep, you see a water bottle is here, and you want to get a good orientation, good rotation of the bottle, so you can clearly see what the shape is what the shape looks like. And you can turn on the wireframe mode if you want. You can select the shading mode or the light mode. This is being influenced by the light, but since you don't have any light source in the scene, so it won't matter. Just maybe start with just a cube, and in a wireframe mode is fine. So at the beginning, that you want to change the shape of this object, you have to go to the edit mode. And by going to, you should press, you see, you should press tab T-A-B to go to the edit mode. So you can manipulate what I said, the vertex, the lines, or the face of the object. And these three buttons are the options that you would always use. So you can manipulate the vertex or lines or face. As I said, as a beginner, try to represent the object that you want to build in the simplest form. So I want to make this face higher, right? So you're making a rectangle, just like a water bottle. Where can I get this picture? If you want to get this picture, you can search Watson bottle, water bottle on the internet. Yeah. And you can simply download the picture and save your picture in any folder, then drag the picture into the Blender software. So let me delete that first. And this is I think this is a good water bottle, don't you think? A rectangle is actually a good water bottle for beginner, because you are representing the water bottle with the simplest form. And this is a good start. And press G to manipulate the face to go up and down. And this is the first step. So as you see from the water bottle, the middle part is thinner. I don't know how to describe. The middle part is less thick, it's not as thick as the bottom part and the top and this region. So you want to create this this part here. So what should you do? You should, as there are nothing for you to select over here, you can, if you are going to select the face, then you are moving the whole face. So you need to subdivide the face into smaller part. You can use this option, but I don't suggest you use this subdivide option here. You can use loop cut here to, you can use loop cut to insert a new lines, insert a loop of lines here to, so you can have more control over the region in the middle part of the rectangle, right? If you scale it, if you scale down the middle part, then you see the middle part is being scaled down. Yeah, but the top and the bottom is not being affected. If you want to, if you don't have the middle part, you cannot build a thinner middle, and it is impossible that you change the scale of the of the top and the bottom to make the middle part become thinner. So you need to have extra lines here, and you are dividing the original face into two new face. So we are going to select, go to wireframe mode, go to tape, go wireframe mode, and go to tab, TAB, and you are into the edit mode and select the four vertex. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, you can use alternate left. I mean, alternate left. Oh my God. Wait. Yes. Box. You can use box select to select all the four vertex. You can also just select them one by one, pressing Shift at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4 to scale down the middle part. And I still think this is a good water bottle, right? You are gradually improving the outline of the shape of the rectangle. And this part is being scaled down, and you see the top of this bottle, the water cape is thinner than the water bottle. So you would like to make this part become thinner. You want to select all the four verses. You want to make this part become thinner, but you do not want to make the middle part to be thin. You want to keep the original shape in the for the body region. So you would like to use the loop cut tool again to increase to insert new lines into this for this mesh. But as you see, the position of the vertex here is not in where you want, because if you are scaling down this part, there's a large there's a large area that is being affected by the scale down operation. So you would like to move up this part. If you move further up, then you see the region being affected by this by these four vertex is minimum. So if you want to scale up, if you want to go down, go up, then it's not like a pyramid. So you want to scale up this part a bit. Scale up is by pressing. Let me. Scaling is by pressing S. I think you can all recognize from the left bottom display there. So you are scaling up the forward vertex here, and it looks better from the if we are going to compare this with the rectangle from the beginning, right? But we can have more improvement. And what should we do? You see, this part is not it's a straight line, but in here it is kind of in a arc, in a circle, in an arc shape. So what can we do? We can add more lines here, so we have more control to the region in the water in the body of the water bottle. We can add more lines here, right? But I don't think this is a very smart method to add to do things like adding things manually. You can actually use the bevel modifiers. You drag the vertex to this level first along the z-axis. Then you are going to use the bevel tool, Control B, Control Control B by making more subdivision along the along the z-axis, and so you are making a concave shape along. You're making an arc shape along the body part of the water bottle, and you see there is a great how to say a trough, a depression in the middle, right? Something is, it goes inward, and the surface is not as flat as this one. So what can you do? You can use the Control Shift Alt, or maybe, yeah, you can use the Control Shift Alt here. So you generate X vertex along the x-axis, along the z-axis, and this can give you more control around the middle part of the water bottle. But if you want to scale down this part and go in, this doesn't look like the real water bottle, right? You have to make the depression effect very, very local to the middle. Like you want to make something like this. And it shows a great depression around the region around here, right? And I think it is still there can be some improvement along the around the bottom part. IG page. I don't use Instagram, sorry. And you want to build the bottom of this water bottle, so it cannot be such a how to say, it is just like a square around this bottle. You have to make it like a round shape. And I missed something. And I forgot to tell you guys one thing, is that let's move this aside first. You can use the add menu around here to choose a cylinder. So starting from a rectangle may not be a very good practice, as this is this does not assemble the water bottle very much, but this but the app but the operations are the same for both of them, except that um, you have to select more vertices for the cylinder. But anyway, I will go on with the rectangle first. And I think the recording will be provided, yeah, will be uploaded on the internet. So what can you do with this part? What can you do with this part? You can use the loop cut again and use Control R to move down the vertex, and go to wireframe mode. Use box select. Box select is by pressing B. Box select. You're selecting all the 4 vertices around here, right? And scale down a little bit. And I think this would be a very, I would say a very good bottle for beginner. And let's make it better. You're using the loop cut again, and Control R to move up the vertex, and go to wireframe mode. Around, you see a depression is around this region, right? Let me erase this part. A depression is around this region. So you scale down a little bit and scale down a little bit, but you do not want these vertices to exert such a great effect on the onto the meshes below it. So you want to use the loop cut tools again to generate 4 more vertices to counter this effect. So yes, and I think it is a good water bottle, I think. Anyway, I will start from the beginning for the cylinder. So you have a cylinder around here. You have a cylinder. By pressing Shift A, then you can use the Add menu to and press and select the mesh. Then the mesh option will expand, and you can find the cylinder mesh. And the first step will be to create a longer cylinder first. And as always, we always use loop cut to generate more vertices. Depends on what region we want to add more effect on, to add more control on. So it is the first step that we do, and we use the loop cut to generate, I think it's 32 vertices. Then we use Control Shift R to generate vertices from the upper part and the lower part. And I am selecting only the layer of this vertex here, and I am using the you can use the alternate shift alternate you can use the shift alternate left to select only this horizontal layer, or you can use the box to select only this horizontal layer. Then I am going to scale down this part. So you see there is a great depression along this surface. right? And where did we go? We start from the middle, and then we go to the top, right? The upper part is more, the diameter for the upper part is smaller. So we are going to scale down the face. We're scaling down the face. Of course, you can just go to wireframe mode, go back to the vertex mode, and you scale down all the vertex. But I think using the face mode will be more convenient. And but you see the scaling effect is too great that it almost it also affects the region around the middle part. So we would like to use the loop cut again to add new vertex. This is to add new vertex, and we would like to scale up around this region and move up a little bit. And this is, the bottle is such a arc, the surface is such an arc shape, and it's not flat. It's not flat. You see, it's in arc shape. So I like to use the loop cut around here again, and move down the vertex and scale up a little bit. Then we use the bevel modifier by pressing Control B, and move your cursor up. Move your cursor up. Oh. Of course, you can select how many segment you want, but you are making such a low poly object, and you do not need that many segments, right? You can just, of course, you can use the third mouse tool. I mean the scroller of the mouse to control how many segment you want. So you can either scroll up and down. Okay, I think this is good enough. Then you are going to make this region, and again loop cut and Control R to move up. Loop cut, Control R to, oops. Loop cut, Control R to move up this. Did I press something? Okay. Anyway, Control R to move up, and scale down this part. So there's a crest here. I mean a trough here. And we generate another loop cut again and scale up this part. And we make the belly of the lower region of the bottle. Let's make the, oops, where did the belly of, make the belly. Another loop cut again, and we scale up a little bit. Use the Boolean modifier. Let's not use that here. We move down a little bit and use the Boolean modifier again. I mean, use the bevel modifier again. If you want to scale down the whole selection of the face, then you can just scale down. Then you are going to select the bottom layer of the vertex and scale down again. I think it is pretty quite a good bottle. It's a good looking bottle. Okay. Um, that is not the main topic of today, and I will move on to the PowerPoint. Uh, can you guys see the PowerPoint? Yeah, yeah, okay. Let's start. Oh, and what we are going to do is actually a very simple control room. We are going to rebuild a control room in Blender, but we'll build a more simplified version instead of building this. And as always, we need to find a reference. Any reference can be any YouTube video or official document or even the floor plan of the control room, if you can actually find the floor plan of such a control room. But I think it is a confidential document that you cannot find. Let's watch the YouTube video.冇聲。有冇聲啊？哦哦哦，有冇聲嚟㗎？
This is where everything went wrong on that night in 1986. Being in here, you can imagine the sense of fear and anxiety those young engineers must have felt while pressing the AC5 button that was located right here, thinking it will stop whatever was happening. As we are just a few steps away from reactor number 4, it's already time to move on. We do one of many radiation checks and proceed toward the next part.
And apart from this, I would like to introduce the HBO series of the Chernobyl series by the HBO, and it is such a great TV series that we should all watch to um, understand the whole event, or you may even search from the internet or watch some what we call meme. Uh, it's a funny joke. And so as long as you understand about the real history, then you have the you have the basic idea of what should you design. Let's watch the YouTube video about this is This is the HBO Chernobyl series.
Take it down. Good. Like that.
You should have finished by now.
We're following protocol for reduction rate.
You're procrastinating. There are 10 other men in this plant would have done it already.
Keep working, you're doing fine.
Kirschenbaum, come get me when these old women are ready.
Yes, Comrade Dyatlov.
Okay, very slow now. Let's ease it down to 700. Whoa, 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 slow.
I didn't move any rods there.
What is this?
I'm not even touching it.
Did everything right. I think that maybe the core is poisoned. Well, if you thought the core was poisoned, then you didn't do everything right because you're choking my reactor. Get it back up.
I think if we turn off LAC, it may be possible to get more control.
Do it, go.
Right, switch off local automatic control. Go to global. Leonid.
LAC disabled, global control activated.
What did you do?
I did what you said, I switched.
Look at it!
I don't understand.
Fucking amateurs, you stalled the reactor. How the fuck did you get this job?
Comrade Dyatlov.
You're gonna tell me that you did everything right again, you incompetent arsehole?
I apologize for this unsatisfactory result.
What are you doing?
We have to shut all the way down.
No.
We could be in a xenon pit. We have to shut down, wait 24 hours.
No, we're doing the test tonight. Raise power to 700.
We can't raise the power from here. The rules.
Don't talk to me about rules.
If we fall from 80%...
No, we fell from 50% of
From
power.
50%, it's even
The rules
worse.
don't say 50. There is no rule.
Comrade Dyatlov, I apologize, but what you're saying makes no sense.
Raise the power.
No. I won't do it. It isn't safe.
Safety first. Always. I've been saying that for 25 years. That's how long I've done this job. 25 years. Is that longer than you, Akimov?
Yes.
Is it much longer?
Yes.
And you with your mother's tit barely out your mouth? See, if I say it's safe, and if the two of you disagree, then you don't have to work here, and you won't. But not just here, you won't work at Kursk, or Ignalina, or Leningrad, or Novovoronezh. You won't work anywhere ever again. I'll see to it. I think you know I will see to it. Raise the power.
The first part of the rods that enter the core are the graphite tips, and when they do, the reaction in the core endlessly accelerates. Core is now a nuclear bomb. 123:42. Perevozchenko looks down on the enormous steel lid of the reactor and sees the impossible. The control rod and fuel channel caps, which each weigh 350 kilograms, are jumping up and down. He runs to warn the control room, but there's nothing he can do to stop what is coming. 1:23:44. The steam blows more fuel channels apart. We do not know how high the power went. We only know the final reading. Reactor 4, designed to operate at 3,200 megawatts, went beyond 33,000. The pressure inside the core can no longer be held back. At long last, we have arrived 123:45, explosion. In the instant the lid is thrown off the reactor, oxygen rushes in.
Yes, let's go. Let's come back. Perhaps we all have paid too much attention on the drama, but I think the most important part is if we are going to think of the 3D modeling, is that we look at the design of the room in the TV series. I remember the producer claimed that the design of the room closely resemble the actual scene. I mean this actual scene. So I think it is a very good reference here. And another thing is that we get to understand there is a button called AC5, right? And this is a very important button that we should all include when we are going to build the control room for the Chernobyl disaster. And this is the AC5 button that I have made I have made for this room, and it is just a compulsory button, I would say. And okay, and yeah, it is another Blender time, so let's try to build this control room, but just very, but just a prototype of this control room, not to be exact. And where is the reference image? I think it's here, right? And let me even, oh yeah. Yeah. Console, what do you mean by console? I don't understand. You mean the control panel, the workstation? Oh, 1 or 2 days, I think. Maybe this one I think is around 1 day, and this one just another 1 day, so total 2 days. And but we are just going to build a very simple prototype of this room, not going to be exact. So we have a image here, and we can go back to the PowerPoint if you want, and set the rotation to be more user friendly first. Okay. And what should we start? Where should we start? You see the room is actually in how to say, it's surrounded by all the workstation, the control panel. The room is in an arc shape, a semi-cylindrical shape, which means you cut the cylinder into half. And this is what we should all think of when we are going to build a model. We think from the big part, from the big first. So we are going to have a cylinder, find a cylinder. Maybe we can even build from a more simple mesh. You see, there are many things that we can use. We can try to use not a benzene circle, not maybe just a circle. 32 is quite enough, I think. We are starting from a circle, okay? Then we scale up a circle, like maybe 2. And you see, this is a circle. This is not a semi-circle. And please mind that the control room is not really a semicircle. It's kind of like you cut away something more after you have cut the circle into half. So it can be like this. the yellow portion, the yellow part is the portion that I am going to cut away. So I'm going to delete the maybe the edge, not the vertex. If you are going to delete the vertex, you can delete the vertex. I mean, yeah. And this is the most fundamental. I would say this is starting point for the control room. And what should you do? What should you do? You should always, this is just a I would say one dimension or two dimension object. So use extrude to give thickness to this. Yeah, maybe wait. Yes. You have to beware of the pivot. I mean, beware of the pivot that you are scaling. If you set the 3D cursor to here, and if you're scaling down, it is scaled down scale down with the pivot around here. But you are actually the center of the circle. The origin is this point, so you have to set the cursor to select to the world origin. I mean, set the cursor to world origin, and let's go back. And we are scaling from the origin by pressing E and S. Yeah. You press E first, and then you press S, and you are using the mouse to you're moving the mouse towards the cursor to decrease the distance between the vertex that you have select and the 3D cursor. So you first press E and you press S. Extrude and move. And this will be the base of these the panel at the back. But how about the workstation at the front? We need another set of the vertex, right? We need another base, right? So I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to duplicate the selected vertex. I just press Shift D to duplicate what I have selected. And I'm using scale again, because you can see there's some space between the workstation and the control. I mean, and the panel. So you need to leave some space between these two segments of the circle. And same for this part. I'm going to use E and scale again. Press E and press S. Again, E and S. So you can make the base of the workstation and the panel. And what should you do next? This is just I would say a two-dimensional. Just a plane is two-dimensional. You would like to have some. You would like to add some at the height for this for the plane, right? To make it as an object, to make them as objects. So you would like to select all of them and use E again. E is extrude. You extrude the object. You extrude them up. So you're giving them a height. But first, I would like to separate them first. So before we separate, they are joined objects. They are joined objects that they are not being separate, and you have to because they have different they have different height, so you have to select use right key, press separate, and by loose part, then you can select you can separate the object into two independent objects. Then you can press go to tab mode, edit mode, and select all the faces and use E. Select all the face. You can select all the faces by pressing A and use E to go up. Actually, I don't know how what's the how tall. I mean, what's the height of the room, but what's the dimension of the room? I'm not so sure actually, but because I do not find I cannot find the floor plan of the room, so it is kind of a wild guess for me. But you see, the dimension become dimension is a good indicator to tell you that how much more that you should extrude, and it is along the x-axis. If you increase more, you see the x-axis is the x-axis of the dimension is increasing. You can also manipulate the value around in the item bar, but let's keep it 0.7 first. And how about this? Actually, the room is quite small, I would say. Can we scale? Can we scale it along the y-axis, so we make the room become a bit larger? But anyway, is around. Okay. And we have the two objects now have the height, and it is now a 3D object. So we are trying to, you see the top of the panel is bending forward. So we cannot just simply select this one and wait. Let me return the 3D cursor to the world origin first. You cannot just simply select the vertex on the top to bend forward, right? It would affect so many regions in the middle and in the bottom. So we need to use the loop cut again to decrease the effect of this scaling. So now the top is bending towards the world cursor, doing to the center of the world, and it's very basic here, and we are going to make the work table now. So how do we make the work table? We are going to use another loop cut to draw to subdivide the mesh into two parts, and we add another loop cut here. And I would say it will be great if we can do this and this. Okay. Go to the X mode and use box, select all the all the faces, and we use extrude and scale again. The origin of scaling is still the world cursor. And let's if we want to like makes this face become less tall, we want to decrease the size of this face here. We cannot simply just use the scale because it will scale to the world origin. We have to switch the pivot point to back to the individual object. So if we are going to do scaling, so it will scale the pivot will be its own origin instead of the world origin. We are moving up and change the pivot back to the world origin and scale towards the world origin again. And oops, you see there are some space between adjacent workstations, so we can use the more savage method to destroy the face. But you can see there is a hole in the around the incision region. So what should we do is we need to make a new face around here to fill up the hole, right? We need to use control, you use shift control left. First, sometimes you have to select this, select one vertex first, then you have to control select, shift control select another vertex in the loop that you want to select. And you are pressing F to form a new face. Again, select a vertex first and select another vertex. But please be reminded that another vertex should be should be around the face that you want to build. You should not select this vertex. You should select the vertex around here or here. Then you form a new face. Select this one first. Shift alternate left. Select this one. Shift alternate left. And if you want to separate them into 3 independent objects, then you would like to right click and separate by loose part, and they are being separate. And the wall is quite, what should we can try to make some button. We can go to the more detailed part. If you are going to make some button on the workstation, so it would be great if you can take out this face and use them as a base to build your button on them. So you are going to duplicate this face. I just duplicate the face and duplicate, and I'm going to I duplicate and select and separate selection. So this is a separated object, and it has nothing to do with the original object that you take the faces from. And you are going to hide all these objects because you are going to make the button for the workstation, right? And this is just a distraction, and these are the distractions. So you are going to make the button, so it can be let's see what I have made. it's definitely not the same. I mean, I just use my imagination to to build my own button. So it would be great if you if you are a creative person. But I will try to build according to the reference, right? Okay. You see, you want to make, maybe we should try, how about the reference photo? Where is the reference photo? If, let me find the reference photo. Oh, it's around here. Reference photo that you are going to build this button. Okay. You see there are lots of buttons on each working table. So what should you do? You should subdivide your working table. So it is, so it will be more easier for you to organize your button. And you can even just separate these faces because you are working on this working table, but not the adjacent, the left one, the right one. You're working on only this, yeah, only this. So you can separate them and hide them. And you have subdivided the original face, and you would like to, I would like to make something quick because back then I don't have much time to make the scene for my VR application. So I would like to make something real quick. And okay, maybe I should use the select random. Okay, so God has chosen this face for me, and what should I do? I should press I. This we can insert new face with I, but you see the face is quite, you see the face quite irregular here. That because you are subdividing the plane into many rectangles, right? You want your button to be rectangular, and you don't want your button to be some kind of weird shapes. So you would like to use the I, and you press I again. You see I, you see the individual and at the top, individual here, you can select, you can just select individual here, or you can press I again. I mean, double I again to activate the individual option. Then you have made more faces from many faces. Oh, I hope you understand. You have made more faces from many faces. Yes. And you are going to extrude the face upward. So it's more like a button. And what should you do? You should, after the extrusion, press E and extrude along the Z axis. This is the x-axis, but you are extruding along the x-axis. And these are the buttons that are popping out. Okay, so you are going to insert another, you are going to insert new faces by pressing I again to generate more faces from the face that you have originally selected. Okay, and for a button, what should you do? Maybe it would be great if we can make add some depression for the button. Okay, yeah, making the face, the newly face to go down. Can you extrude random heights? I don't think so, because you have select all of them. You have selected all of them. If you want to extrude random height, I don't think you can do so. You have selected all of them, and then you do the extrusion, and the value is being applied to every face that you have selected. And I think it can be done manually. Okay. Manually, you mean extruding them one by one, maybe? Yes, you can do so, but as I said, we are going to do something real quick. Yeah, we're going to build something, yeah, real quick. So I'm not going to just do them one by one. We are running out of time if we are going to make a VR application, right? Then you are extruding them all at once, and you insert new face by pressing I, and you create a depression, a hole. I don't know how to a hole for them, a depression, and you extrude inward, so it looks like this, and it is they don't like button, right? So you are going to insert new face again. Let's make them look more like switches, and you are going to extrude up again, and extrude up again, and you are going to select individual origin along the face of normal. You see the coordinate system is quite strange. You can use the global orientation, or you can use the normal orientation, and I will use the normal orientation here because I'm trying to build something. Yes, I'm going to build a switch that I think they looks like a switch, right? But actually they are not. Maybe you should subdivide them and only select the, how to say, only select the upper part, but I don't think you can. Let's leave it like that first. Okay, normal. And maybe you can add the bevel modifier to make them, to give them okay. By the way, anyway, let's move on to the next table that we are working on this phase now. And so we hide this one, and I'm going to hide the adjacent two face also. I'm going to separate the adjacent two face, and I'm going to hide them. So we are working on this one. Well, it's quite strange, the button. Maybe I don't have the, oh yeah, let me draw that. It doesn't let me draw. Anyway, this one. I would like to build this one. Can I have a more clear picture? Even these buttons are great if we can include them in the 3D models. So let's build this one first. Okay. So what should you do when you are trying to wait a second. Let me oh yeah. Let me return the mesh to the original form first, because we have made quite a lot of changes in the adjacent face. So yeah, this is the face that we are working on. So we can do subdivide or anything. And let's build the rectangular things. I think this is I don't know, a CD, a place for inserting CD or any hard disk, or I'm not sure actually. So I'm going to use the loop cut to subdivide the plane into left and right, and I'm going to increase the number of cuts, like maybe 80s, not 80s, maybe 8, maybe 8. So you have more horizontal, lines and only one vertical line. And you are using the box select to select all of the faces from the right side. And again, use the eye to create a new face. And scroll down, extrude down. And I think this is it. Or we may create something, we may try to build something better. After the extrusion. Okay. After let's save this. Let's save the face that we have selected, and we are going to press the object data properties to assign the face that we have selected into the vertex group. So yeah, extrude down. Okay. So we are going to press Control I to select all of the relevant, all of the adjacent faces. And we are going to deselect this one. Can we move this up a little bit? Yes. Let's do that again. We have, originally we have these faces because of we have inserted new face from, Then we do the extrusion to extrude inward along the normal x-axis orientation. And then we are going to save the face that we have selected. Save the face that we have selected by pressing plus here to generate a new vertex group. And we are going to assign the faces into to the vertex group. And then if we don't select anything, it will be troublesome to select again all the faces that we have previously selected. So it would be great if we can access to the vertex group and select, and use this select option to select what we have previously selected. And we are using Control plus to select more the adjacent face. And then we are going to deselect the original face that we have selected and move up. So you create, I don't know how to describe, a bumpy feeling, a bumpy object. You can even use the bevel modifier. The bevel modifier is by adding more edges along the line that you have selected. So you can use bevel modifier. You can adjust the width, but not too much. Adjust the width. Okay, it will be too much. With 0.0023, then you can create this how to say a CD port or whatever. And let's move to another style of working station. Okay. Floppy drive. Separate this one first, and we have this one. Just make whatever we want. Okay, maybe we can make whatever we want. Let's place the world cursor in the center, at the center of this face first. Now, originally the world cursor can be anywhere, and it will be quite annoying if we are going to add a new object because the object is born at the right at the world cursor. So it would be great if we can place the world cursor at the center of this face. So we place the world cursor to the center of this face. Then we are going to use Shift A and add a new cylindrical shape. But of course, we have to scale down the cylindrical face, cylinder. And we can use the snap tool, snap to the face to we can use the snap. It would be great if you can just place the object on the surface, but not penetrating the object. So the snap tool will help you to do things like this. You can place the object anywhere just on the surface of the face, but not into the surface. I mean into the face. And you are going to use the array modifier. This is a very convenient modifier for you to mask generate any button that you want to increase the factor. So the separation become two buttons is wider. Okay, you are too much. Maybe 10. Okay, and you are going to add one more array or modifier along the y-axis, maybe this time. 2. So it kind of like a matrix. And since you have snapped this object to the face already, so every object will locate nicely on the face of this one. Oh no, so sorry. We have to adjust that later after we have to adjust the rotation, I mean, of this button later after we have pressed the apply button. But first, let's model the original button first. Let's model the button first. Okay. What do I would like to make actually for this one? Maybe an insert and insert again and extrude, and use Boolean modifier to create a bob. I think they look very cool. And select the edge around of this circle and use the Boolean modifier again. I think they look great. And after we have applied and we press applied, originally, if we are not doing the applied option, that if you change one of the object, that the rest of the object will be affected. But after you have pressed apply and apply, then this one has nothing to do with the rest of the others object. So yeah, and we snap again. We do the snap again, and this time every of them is quite annoying. Okay, anyway, let's don't use the align rotation to target. Maybe just snap onto the surface of this one. And let's move on to the fourth work table. This time we would like to create something that player can interact with, because you see from the previous working table that we have created, they are not separated as independent object, which means that we cannot add any collider onto them if we are for any button, because they are just one object. So we have to separate every object, separate every button before we actually export to the game engine. Like, okay, maybe like this, and like separate loose. Then every one of the button is every button is actually an independent object. Then you can manipulate the rotation of the object if player is pressing the button. But it is impossible if we are going to export the whole mesh as a we export everything as a whole mesh. So we for this working table, we have to bear in mind that we have to separate the button and the table. Okay, let's do a lever. Okay, I mean a pulling lever. And I just did loop cut and insert face again, and let's hide extrude upward and insert a new face. Okay. And if we are going to build a button, you can start with you can add a new object. You can actually add a new object, or you can use a lazier method. I would say you duplicate the face that you have separate them, and since I'm going to build the lever of this pulling put the pulling rod, I would say. You are going to scale down this. Yeah. This is not a, maybe it's not a good way to scale down things. Yes. Never mind, we should start with a new object first. We should start to build our button from the beginning instead of duplicating the new phase 2. And where is that to select it? This is the button. Okay. This is a very, I've scaled down the cube, and we are going to use a loop cut and Control Shift R to offset edge slide and make a T shape. We can make the top face of the bottom to have to be more distinguishable by adding a bevel on the top. Because if we don't add bevel, it will be harder for player to see the actual object. A bevel is good for reflecting the light. And I'm duplicating all 4 of them, and this is an independent object that so player can interact with, and you can change the direction, or you can change the position of this object in the game engine in the later. So this is the end of this section, the modeling of the Chernobyl disaster power plant, and I think we should move on to the next part. And before that, I will talk about some mistake that I have made when I am doing the modeling. When I was doing, I'm doing the modeling, is that I have spent too much time on the areas that player won't pay too much attention to. All the detail parts, like these what you guys said, the console, actually the server is not necessary, because these are not the thing that player will pay too much attention to. We can focus on the working table, and the panel at the back it will be great. And don't always aim for perfection when you are going to develop a huge project for your for anything, like for a competition or a school project or whatever, because time is always the money. That you can improve that later, but start with the basic first. And yes, and these are the relevant keyword that you may think will be useful for, later, including extrude, scale, and insert phase. These are the modifiers. I mean the modeling tools that I always use, and even the bevel, BE, the bevel would be also great. This one is also great modeling tools if you are going to do modeling. So let's move on to the city generation with Blender, and this is a very interesting and a very exciting part, because you can create so many things within a short amount of time. So let's let's talk about these things first. And first, we have to create a different components for a building. And like we are going to build the outer wall, the roof, and the base of a building. Then these are what we call the basic component. Then we are going to build the building block by blocks by using the geometry node in Blender. And this it can be done within a short amount of time, and the height and the width of the building we can easily control them. So we can generate different building with different style. I mean different size, and then we must generate different building and place them on a terrain that or plane. The terrain can be designed, can be made by us, or if we don't have time, we can place the buildings on simply a plane. And yeah, it will be great if we have time to add materials or light. Yes, so this will be our reference. And so we start another Blender project again. New. As always, we delete the camera and the light, and we this is called Barbary Building, and it is located in the Los Angeles, and it is a landmark of Los Angeles. Yes. So as we said, we are going to build a basic component of this building. You see the outer wall, the outer wall. What I mean by basic component is this. This is a component, the outer wall, and what I call the roof, and this is what I call the base. So we are just going to build this part, and we try to join them together and multiply them to form a nice building. Okay. And so we start from a cube, and you see a wall. We need to decrease the thickness to around 0.2, but I don't have much time, so I will go fast, and the design of the wall will be quite simple here. So I'm going to do the loop cut and subdivide the faces into 3 parts, and use the insert face, but individual modifier, but select the option of individual and extrude inward. And wait. To extrude inward. And actually, we should pay attention to the value, like maybe 0.8, and this side would also 0.8. And we are pulling the faces out a little bit. And okay, this is what I consider a very good outer wall. I mean the face of the building. So I'm going to hide this by pressing H. You can select this one to make it visible again, but not now. And press 0.2. Maybe this time we make the base of this building. Make the base. How do we make the base? Let's Let's make it that in very rough manner. Maybe -0.8 and -0.8. And if you are extruding inward here, you see there's a flaw. I mean a deflect that you may not want. Is that the face is some face is left behind and not being destroyed. So to solve this problem, you have to, when you do extrusion, you have to press dissolve orthogonal I think it's edges. Yes, edges, destroy orthogonal edges, and then you use the loop cut again. Control Shift R to generate 2 more edges and pull out a little bit. I would say this is the base. Let's make that more detail. I'll consider that as the base of the building. So I'm going to maybe we do not want this 0.4 and negative 0.4, I think. Yes. You can just use the soft face if you want to erase the details on the face, and you are making that, you can making the face inward, and I think that would be the I'll rename that to the as the base of the building, and this is the outer wall of the building. So we are going to hide this one again and go with the top 0.2. And this one is quite complicated because you see the, if we are, it's a round shape, it's a dome thing. So you are extruding this part and dissolve orthogonal edges, and it is a very interesting way to rapidly create this building, because you are making use of modeling and geometry node and even particle system to mass create this building to and place them on a city. It is a very complicated task, but you have, and it has used many functions in Blender. I would say maybe I will make the bevel. I will increase the segments of bevel, so the circle part, the circle will be more smooth. You see there's a flaw there. Surface. Surface. Oops. Maybe we are scaling up this part, and this. Okay, and for the for the for the top part, because we how to say, the mesh is actually so messy. You see all the lines connecting from this vertex to another vertex at the top. It is quite messy, so we should not use the loop cut here. If we want to draw a straight line, we should use the knife tool. These are new modifiers. These are new modeling tools that are introduced. Use the knife tool. You select first, yeah. You select everything first, then you use the knife tool. Press K, and wait a second. Yes. If you are going to cut through the whole thing in a straight line, because if you are going to use the loop cut modifier, it cannot generate a good straight line. You must use the knife modifying tool to form a new straight line around here. Then you can dissolve. You can help to make the mesh cleaner by pressing dissolve. So it will be great if you can pull that out and dissolve, and also dissolve this part. Yeah, is segmented. The vertex also need to be how to say, dissolved. So we have just one edge. But previously we have many. We have actually we have many edges. That this is not the thing that we want. So we need to select all the edges and we dissolve them. And we can use the bevel modifier again. But not, maybe this one will be great, just not too much. And this will be the top of for this, I mean the roof, the top layer for this building. I would say it's kind of so rough here, but it's fine. So what's left? I think we have everything. One, hide that. Two, hide that. Three, yes. And here we go. Let's go to the geometry node. This is a very powerful features of Blender, but it is quite complicated. That you can. I will just try to explain to you what is going on here. So first you have to add a grid. Imagine this is a grid. Just imagine this is a grid, and size of 1 meter, and a 3 vertex on that. It is a grid with size of 1 meter and three vertex on the x axis. And you are going to add a transform. Yes. You see here marks all the position of the vertex. 3 times 3 is 9, right? So you have totally 9 vertex here. But we can hide this part. We can just hide this part and do what has to be done. Point instance on point, that we are since we have nine points, right? 9 vertices on the faces. So we are giving each point an object. So you have nine points, and you are giving each point an object. So there are a total of 9 objects that you'll see very soon. And I'm going to add an object info here, so you can add the object that you want. Outer wall. Adjust the rotation a little bit. You see, there are actually 9 objects here, nine outer walls here, but they are you have to enlarge the size of the grid so you can actually see them nicely. And there are actually 9 outer wall here by just manipulating the geometry node. And you want the top layer of this, you want the top layer to be what you have just done, the roof. You want the top layer to be the roof. So you have to replace the top 3 with the roof object. But how can you do that? First, you have to do some math. You have to make some comparison. What we call it is actually a height comparison. That let me find a separate XYZ. Separate geometry. Yeah. No, we should place this here. Don't worry, they will come back very soon. You are making comparison here, that you are selecting the layer below the top layer to be the instant of outer wall. But if the height of the object is above this layer, I mean, it's above the height that you set, that would be the top layer, right? Then the top layer, you want to replace the instant of the top layer to be the outer wall. So you are making a comparison here to compare the height of each of these objects to the value that you set. For example, the height of this object is 0, but this one is 2, because the diameter, I mean for example, the dimensions of one block that you have made is 2 meters. So you know the size of each of these object is 2 meters. And you know the height of this one is kind of from the middle will be 2, and -2 and 0. And so if you target the top layer, you want to set comparison. For example, if the height is above 1.9, then you know you are referring, then the system know you are referring to the objects at the top. So let's do that. You're using math here. Course position. These nodes represent the position of each of these instants. I mean each of the object. You are using comparison, so you are greater than or larger than. If let's set that first. Yeah, we need to separate. Since we are only comparing the height of this building block, but not the x-axis but not the other axis, so we need to separate into 3 axes and only target one axis. Oops, what have I done? This is the y-axis. Maybe the x one will be better. Yes. Less than. Maybe less than 1.9. Let's try. Yes. If I set the value to be 2, then or 2.1, the top layer will be displayed because you are satisfying the requirement. And if you satisfy the requirement, this node will be triggered. And if you don't, this node, the inverted node will be triggered. So I will set 1.9. So for the objects that are at the top layer, the node will goes to inverted node. I know it's really complicated here, but you can try to read some more documents or YouTube videos regarding these geometry nodes and do some practice, then you will be fine. Inverted, then you need to join geometry. But I have not selected maybe we want the roof, right? So you see, the roof is being replaced by the roof that we have designed. And this is just a wall, a side of the building. And we a building has four sides, right? But this is not the thing that we want yet, because we want to control the input. I mean the height of this building. So we need to have more building blocks here. It can't be just 9. We want to have maybe 12, 15, or even more. So we need to set a variable for the input. For example, we determine the height, variable for the height. Okay, where is that? Yeah, and the default will be 2. Maybe the variable for the width of the building. Yeah. Okay. Then we have to make the height to the vertex x. Yeah. But there's one issue is that can you see many of the objects are overlapping with each other because we define the size to be 4 times 4 for the grid. But you know, for each of the objects that we have built, the size should be 2 times 2. So we need to increase the size of this of the grid. But it would be very inconvenient if we have to adjust that every time we change the height and weight value. So we need to find some relationship between the height and this size x value, and we need to find a math node again, and maybe value 2 multiply by 2. I think it's better, but why there's some how to say? Anyway, let's do that first. Yes, we are multiplying the value nicely, but there is something strange. you see there's some spaces between each building blocks. Maybe I have set the value wrong, the value wrongly, and as I remember, we have to decrease by 1. We have to subtract the value by 1 first before we can do the multiply. But are they overlapping? Yes, they are overlapping. Oh, yeah. I think it's better. Yeah. Sorry, I have deleted the math note. Let's do subtract here. By the first we subtract the value by 1, then we multiply it by 2, and we feed the value into this one. Okay, let's leave that first. There's some issue with the value that I have input, but I will show you the correct example because I have done that before, but I don't know why that I have select the wrong one. Maybe we go on to the project that I have done to show you the correct node. Import, no save. And this is a very this is what I am talking about, is that you can control the geometry node. This is everything. The geometry node that I am going to talk about, but I'm afraid that I don't have enough time today, so I'm going to just show you the value. Yes, it should be subtracted by 1 first, then you multiply the value by 2. But I'm not sure why I couldn't get it in the last project. But anyway, I'll show you with this project. And you are, after you have this geometry node, you are deciding, you can generate the building with just a very simple way, in a very simple way. Let me rotate into the correct position. That the top face is what we have done in the last project, that how to say, a door with a circular top, and these are the wall, and I didn't even do the base of the building, but anyway, the amazing part about this geometry node is that you can keep changing the value to make the building that you want, and you can, if you have time, you can even make more faces for the outer wall. So you can use the random function to switch between this outer wall and another outer wall. So it will add some more varieties for each building that you have generated. And yes, as we said, we are going to make a city. So let's make more building first. Okay. we are going to apply them. This one deleted too big. And with the geometry node, going to rotate it 90 degree. Maybe it will be enough. Then we are going to create the terrain for our city. Maybe just a plane. Oh, yeah, need to just a plane. This is when we are going to use the particle system. So I'm going to subdivide. You can use this one, maybe 100. Yeah, too big. Maybe 20. I think you can also try to do some up and down for the terrain. It must not be so flat. So you can find a noise texture here. I know it sounds so strange, but I'm going to increase the size. Can we increase the size of the terrain? Okay. Let's use the weight paint. We are drawing weight on a plane, so we are specifying so we are giving the density of the city. I mean, we are making the density. We are indicating which part of the city is more dense and which part is less dense. So we like to make this part to be less dense and the red region to be more dense. So we are going to feed the vertex group. After you have paint your weight paint, a vertex group will be automatically generated for you. So you do not have to worry, it will save the data. You can just go back to the object mode and go to particle system, the hair. Well, everything is flipped. And the building is in the second collection. So you want your city to be in the first collection. Render from collection, instant collection 2. Oh yeah, start to get a bit laggy. Maybe just 80. I mean 80, not too much. And we are going to, of course, make it better. The scale of the object. Don't mess with the scale randomness, because you are using the geometry node to generate building with a different height and width. If you use the scale, then you don't want to scale down or scale up the building, but you just want to use the geometry node to adjust the size. And advanced rotation. You want to make that go up. Yeah, go up. Why don't you go up? no, the goal is global X go. Well, the building so troublesome or doesn't go up more. Please wait a second. Check orientation. So if they don't go up, you manually adjust them to go up, and that is what degree? You adjust them 360. Let's pull them away from the city. From just 60. So you see the building are standing up, but as I said, you have paint the weight, and the density of the building should be shown here. And in the weight paint, I have left the middle part and this region to be blue. So you see, there should not be any generation of the building there, and building will only be located on the red region. And I think this is okay. Then since we have more time, of course we can change the seat of this of this particle system and give a more choice. Since we have more time, we can go back to the basic component. Where are they? Let's hide all the thing first. I would like to go back to the basic component. Yes, this is the basic. And we are going to paint color for it. So how do we paint color? We are going to use material. So the first material is necessary, as Blender doesn't know. It requires two material if you want an extra color on some region and color on some region that you specify, because you cannot just turn red, turn the material red if you want only this region to be red. It will turn the whole object to be red. So you need an other material to turn Blender, to turn the regions that you have selected to become maybe yellow. We can add some emissive. No, not the black. Change maybe 10. Okay. So switch to the light mode. Assign. You see the light is coming up from the window, and let's hide this one. The second block. I didn't use this block. This one. What do I want to do with this one? Let's don't do anything with this one. How about this one? This one is this one should be the what? Did I? Let me check. Did I apply this? Oh, I didn't even apply the base to the building that I've created. So it has no use. How about this one? Yes, I have done something. I have used this building block. So you can just you can just flame select this one, and maybe you can adjust some color in this region, maybe like this. No. Okay, so we have paint some of the we have given materials to our building blocks, and you see the building is like is lighting up. But of course you can adjust like not every window to grow like this. You can adjust only some window to grow, but not every window. And have we applied to this? Why are some building not applying? Oh, because we have applied the node, so we cannot change back what is being applied. So it will be a good practice if we do not press the apply modifier here. I just press the apply modifier for these two to commit the change for the X and Y value. So the materials of the building block cannot be displayed on those building, but it will be quite still will be good. Let's switch to, let's hide those building and switch to the cycle engine. And we need a camera now. We need a camera now because we would like to capture a good photo. Then after we have add the camera, you can just press wheel and align wheel, allow camera to wheel. And this is what your camera is supposed to see. And it takes times to, of course, it takes many times to readjust the whole thing. I can think of many ways to improve the whole thing, but we have only limited time, so I think this is it. And the Python scripting, you can even use some script if you want to take pictures of this how to say, of this city. You want to take pictures of this city, but let's copy from what I have written. If some of you know Python script, then it would be great. So you import you import a package, and this is a Panda Python API, and you define a variable, and you start a for loop, and for each loop you are changing the where did that go? Please wait a second. Yeah, you are changing the seed of this one. So for each capture, the seed of the city will be different. Just like Minecraft, right? The seed will generate a different world, different seed. So you are changing different seed from 0 to 10. Of course, you can import a random module, and you can times random and random. I mean, you can times a random integer to make your seed become more strange. I don't know how to describe. And you are defining the file path of the image that you want to save. Then you just finally you do render, and this will render 10 pictures for you. And I remember I have the file set up already, and yes, it will take some time to generate. I remember. So my screen is lagging from my perspective, and let's wait maybe 1 minute or 30 seconds to see what is being generated. Mm, it's still loading, and I'm not sure uh, if this is, it should be correct because no error is popping is coming out, but it shouldn't take that long. Maybe because I'm doing the sharing. Oh, oh yes, oh yes. I think I because I shouldn't turn on the cycle engine. It will take much longer. Let me restart. Let me restart Blender again, and I try the script again. So please wait a second. After you have after you have some of you may think you have lost what you have done, but it's actually not. You can do auto file. You can go file and do find recovery, and you can find the auto save versions. So it can, what you have done is recover, and you change back the render engine to Eevee, because Cycle will do the ray tracing for you, and it will take much longer. As I remember, I press save first, and I hope this time I hope we can generate some pictures before the end. Uh, 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 and these are the images that we have generated, because we are using the Eevee engine. This is this will consume less time, but the quality may not be as good as the Cycle engine. So you have just created 10 photos, and with each city is different. And yes, this is what I wanted, what I want to say. And these are the relevant keywords that you may find will be useful for you to, if you would like to do some more research and go find some tutorial. And these are the keywords that you may want to search. And yes, and this is the end of this Student Maker Forum, and thank you for coming. You share.
Thank you very much for Jimmy's sharing. We can see that he when he developed the game, and he is very interested in the game development. He shared many skills and tools in the Blender, and we learned a lot from him. If you have any question, you can leave your message in the chat box. But the time is running out, so we may answer 1 to 2 questions. If you want to ask anything, you can leave your message to the chat box. And also, we are waiting for the participant who want to ask question. We also introduce some library program that we organize in the chat box. Here is the Maker Mindset at Tableau. Can you hear me? Okay. Here is some Maker Mindset at iSpace program. We'll update in this web page. Every semester, we'll organize a series of workshops including some emerging technology and also some the workshop regarding the 3D modeling, etc. And also we organize the VR and AR contests in this year. If you are interested, you can have more details on this webpage. In addition, we organize the VR interaction in Unity workshop. The details here. Please be aware of the mass email. We will launch the registration very soon. We see some question. Is there any workshop that is related to 3D printing? In this semester, we don't have the 3D printing workshop. Please be aware of our updates. We may arrange some emerging technology workshop in coming semester. Any other question that you want to ask Jimmy?
And thank you. I mean, 3ds Max is also a very good tools, but I'm not very good at 3ds Max. But when I realized that when I export model from 3ds Max, the model usually triangulate, and the shading all mess up. So I just avoid using 3ds Max when I'm creating any 3D models for game or for VR application. Yes.
We're waiting for the question. I have a question that I want to ask Jimmy. What is the main challenge of this VR project? How did you solve it?
I would say the main challenge is always is the time management, because for VR project, for VR application, I mean, for this Chernobyl disaster VR application, I am not actually quite familiar with all the VR setup. That the VR setup actually takes me lots of time, much more than expected. So it will be quite hard for me to manage my time, to allocate time for each task. So how did I overcome it? The best way is to to always practice more. You practice as long as you practice more, you make perfect. I mean, you make better stuff, and you get to know what kind of job will take up more time. And yes.
Thank you, Jimmy. In my observation, Jimmy is very hardworking student.
Can I? Let me download the PNG. Well, this is what you have made. I mean, wow. That's very cool. The mask of the Iron Man. I mean, how do you decide how do you decide material? You use what? Substance designer or what? I mean, maybe for the animation PNG, I think maybe we can use bake the light source. I mean, we can bake the light. So because I think the the lower portion, the face that facing the ground is completely black, and I don't know why. Maybe you have to use some baked light source, or you may want to add another light that coming from the bottom to make the lower part of the I mean the face to light up a bit. And just normal material. Oh my, wow! So it's quite amazing. The IMM mask. There is a material preview in Blender. Yeah, yes, I think so. Material preview.
Okay, thank you very much. If there is no any other question, I think it is the end of this student maker forum. Due to the COVID-19 situation, that we switched this forum into online mode. I hope to see you soon in the library. That very soon in the library. We also have some upcoming workshop that they're also in the online mode. So please be aware of the email and our the registration. Thank you very much.
And once again, thank you for coming. And hope you guys can learn something. You're welcome.
Thank you.